Now, if there is something this APC-led government should be given credit for, something this government is good at, it is the fact that they underestimate Nigerians. They think Nigerians are dumb. They underestimate the intelligence of Nigerians. Now, here are two press releases. One from INEC's official X account. The other is from one Olusegun, a special assistant to President Bola Tinubu on social media, and he's also the national convener of the PBAT Media Center. Now, look carefully at the publication dates. One was posted on Friday night. The other was posted on Saturday. Now, at first glance, this may sound like nothing, just a harmless difference of a few hours, right? Just two people posting the same thing. But when you look closer, something deeply unsettling emerges. The document is supposed to be an INEC press release, an official institutional response, an official INEC document debunking a serious claim against the commission, a clarification from Nigeria's electoral umpire. Yet the same document appears to have been posted on X by a presidential aide nearly 24 hours before INEC itself officially posted it on their own verified handle. Just pause and think about that. Olusegun, or that the DO, is not a journalist. He's not a media house. He's not a random regular citizen. He is a presidential aide. Now, an electoral umpire like INEC is supposed to be institutionally distant from political power, not informationally linked to it. So this is where this stops being harmless and starts becoming uncomfortable. Because when a presidential aide posts verbatim, identical word for word, including phrasing, structure, and signature block of a supposed INEC press release 24 hours before INEC, it creates the perception that INEC communication was being echoed or reframed by political actors. Because there is something deeply wrong with Nigeria's political culture. And sometimes the real problem is not even what they deny. It is how they deny it. It is who gets access first. It is who seems to know before the public. It is the language they use. It is the arrogance behind the performers. Now, interestingly, when I checked further, it wasn't only that the DO. Another page, Renewed Hope UK, a known pro-APC supporter account, also posted the same exact INEC press statement on Friday. You see, INEC's own official Facebook and X accounts only carried the statement on Saturday. So the official denial from an independent electoral body was first released and circulated by the presidency's social media team and ruling party supporters page almost 24 hours before the commission itself made it public on its verified channels. So this is not a small coordination issue. This is a serious red flag about institutional independence. Now, I know a lot of Nigerians have been talking for days now about the alleged X account linked to the INEC chairman, Amokbita, right? Now, let me make this clear from the beginning. I'm not going to be making any categorical claim about that account itself, because I know a lot of Nigerians have investigated it, although I have not independently investigated that matter. But there is another issue here, and that issue is serious enough on its own. I want us to start asking this simple question. Why would a presidential aide appear to post an INEC press statement before INEC itself officially posted it? Why is Tinubu's SA speaking for INEC? Because this is the presidency speaking for INEC before INEC could speak for itself. This is the issue. Not gossip, not speculation, not partisan noise. That is an issue. INEC is constitutionally designed to be independent. But this sequence tells a different story entirely. one of constitutional subordination. Now, Adebayo Oketola is INEC's chief press secretary, right? Not a state house staffer. So the fact that the presidency social media handler put out the full signed statement first strongly implies that the statement was likely drafted or coordinated from the presidency side, and that INEC then simply copied and pasted it on their social media channels, on their own official social media channel the next day. This creates a clear appearance that INEC is not operating independently, but is being managed or defended by the executive arm of the government. You see, INEC is not a parastatal of the presidency. Section 158 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, and the Electoral Act explicitly guarantee its financial and operational independence, precisely so that the electoral umpire is not seen as an extension of the executive. Yet here we are. The very office that should be arm's length from the president's media team is letting that same team draft, timestamp, and drop its official denial first. Honestly, the optics are devastating, and the message to every Nigerian is unmistakable. When INEC is under pressure, it runs to the presidency for cover, and the presidency is happy to provide it. So now think carefully. Let us think carefully. INEC is not a party office, right? INEC is not a campaign council. INEC is not a media arm of the presidency. INEC is supposed to be an independent electoral umpire. And independence is not just about what you are. It is also about what you look like. It is about what the public can reasonably trust. It is about whether your conduct inspires confidence or suspicion. And that is the problem. That is why I keep saying that in Nigeria, the real scandal is often hidden inside what people try to dismiss as normal. Even more disturbing is the tone of this joint statement, the language of the statement itself. Instead of calm, evidence-based clarification, the document chooses belligerence. Seriously, this is not communication. This is intimidation, threats, grandstanding, institutional chest beating. Just look at the wordings. Just look at the wordings. They say they will not fold their arms while the character of their leadership is being assassinated. They talk about security agencies, cyber intelligence, persecution, deterrence, right? Now, pause. Why does an electoral commission sound like an aggrieved political war room? Why does an institution that should calmly reassure the public, why does that institution sound emotionally wounded and openly combative? You see, that tone matters. Because public institutions, especially ones as sensitive as INEC, should understand the difference between clarification and intimidation. INEC is not just denying, it is framing criticism as an attack on neutrality. And that is dangerous, because once state-linked institutions begin responding to public doubt with threats instead of transparency, they are no longer trying to build trust. They are trying to suppress discomfort. That is a different thing entirely, and Nigerians should pay attention to that. Because we are in a country where citizens already have reasons to be suspicious of institutions. Trust is already fragile. The electoral environment is already tense. The credibility deficit is already there. So if people are concerned, the answer is not to puff up your chest and start threatening cybercrime charges like a wounded emperor. The answer is to behave in a way that reassures the public. But too often in Nigeria, institutions and politicians do the opposite. They always do the opposite. They do not calm the room. They try to dominate it. They do not explain. They posture. They do not recognize public concern as legitimate. They treat it as insolence. And that is exactly what this statement reveals. You do not build trust by bullying people into silence. You build trust by behaving in a way that does not provoke reasonable suspicion in the first place. So every Nigerian, regardless of party, tribe, or candidate preference, every one of us should be deeply alarmed. We should be deeply concerned by this episode. Because when the electoral referee allows the executive to speak for it and then threatens citizens who notice that, then the game itself is no longer fair. Of course, we know we have not been fighting a fair game. It shows that the field is titled before a single ballot is cast. This is not about one press statement. I need you to understand that. This is about whether we still have an independent National Electoral Commission or whether we now have a presidency-controlled electoral commission pretending to be independent. The duplication and the bullying tone have exposed the truth. The rest is now up to us and to history.